Oh my God, I meant for this to be an easy one.
This is a disaster.
There's two. Dear Shandy. Welcome back to Dear Shandy, listeners. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good. I like your overalls.
Oh, thank
nice
you.
Set of overalls.
They are overall.
Is that why they're called overalls?
I think so.
Overall?
Yeah. They're over my shirt. They're over my legs. They're over most of me.
How amazing is that? I've been hearing the word overalls, but when I was a little kid, like a baby, I used to wear overalls. That was the thing in the 70s.
Cute. Oshkosh. Was it Oshkosh Bagosh?
Oshkosh Bagosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh my gosh. Bagosh. Oh my gosh Bagosh. But I have known of this word since I was literally, it may have been one of the first 50 words I ever learned.
Yeah.
Because that was what I wore when I was a tiny little like toddler baby. And I have never until this moment thought about what that means.
It reminds me of when this happened with a colleague once, a German colleague when I was in Germany. She was another singer. And I had mentioned, oh yeah, we were staging something. And I was like, oh yeah, put your head in my lap. And she was like, oh my God, laptop.
Oh,
it was super cute. And in that moment, I was like, yeah, laptop, duh.
That's a great one.
Yep.
Laptop is a great one.
We're already getting quite off topic because today is Q&A day.
Yep, let's get into it.
Very exciting.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it. By the way, I would pay good money to see little baby toddler you in overalls.
Yeah, me too. I would pay good money to be little baby me in overalls. Very good money. Okay.
Our first question is from Anonymous. Hi, Sharleen and Andy.
Aww.
I just started seeing a guy and I'm trying not to catch feelings too quick. He is super nice and we have tons of fun together, but he recently got out of a relationship that seemed to be a somewhat painful experience. We have been super direct about this and are taking things slow. That said, I almost feel embarrassed asking this. How many times is normal to see each other in the early stages of dating? He and I are seeing each other exclusively. No labels though. Hopefully not an uh-oh. We usually see each other 1 to 2 times a week and have been dating for a month. Thank you, Anonymous.
I have an issue with the actual grammar here.
What do you mean?
If you're dating for a month and you usually see each other 1 or 2 times a week, I think there's another word that's not enough.
Usually, I know what you're saying. Usually applies to many, many months.
Yeah. Usually connotes that there's been enough time for there to be usually a thing.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
Yeah. Nothing usually happens in a month span. Nothing. There's no thing that is usually within a month span.
It's funny. There's one other spot that gives me similar vibes. It's when she says, we are seeing each other exclusively, but no labels. Like, what do you mean? Like, what is that? What is dating exclusively if there are no labels?
Yeah, what other labels do you have?
I just feel like sometimes people are afraid, or especially men, are afraid of saying boyfriend and girlfriend, but they're not as afraid to be like, yeah, we're exclusive. But something about putting a boyfriend, girlfriend label on it is daunting to them.
People are more about words nowadays than ever before. People are too focused on the words, like I love you, boyfriend, exclusive, all this stuff.
Yeah, but I think that, don't you think that if you're exclusive, you're basically boyfriend, girlfriend?
Yeah, I think it's all just words. I mean, why do you have to label it anything? You know what it is. Have you had the talk? Have you been like, we're doing this?
That's what I would like to know.
Going steady.
But we're getting away from the actual question. The title of the email was frequency of dates. So whether or not a month is enough to warrant the word usually, they've been seeing each other 1 to 2 times a week and have been dating for a month. I don't think that's a bad number. And of course, this is very much a case by case, like whatever, like you do you. Do you live in the same city? What are your work schedules like?
I don't have enough context.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, so I meant to give you an easy one to start with. You were telling me it's hard.
It's too easy and therefore too hard because there's not enough information. Okay. As you were saying, like, are they in separate cities?
Yeah.
Like, do they have really, really, really busy jobs where they're like working 18 hours a day? Is there, I don't know. There's all sorts of things to consider. Like one time a week could be right, and one time a week could be extremely suspicious.
Yeah. She said 1 to 2 times a week. I guess the thing I'm missing from this email is, are they texting every day? Do they talk on the phone? If they see each other once in one of these 4 weeks so far, are they talking on the days where they're not seeing each other? Or
Absolutely.
do 5 days go by where they don't communicate?
Right. Exactly. If they're texting, if everything they do, they're like, I'm walking, getting a coffee. I'm like, oh, wow, I just saw a pretty bird. Like if that's happening every day, they're fine. They could see each other once a year.
Yeah.
That's a relationship, right?
Yeah.
But I think, I hate to do this, but I think that her question begs another question is, why is she concerned about the frequency of the times they see each other in the first month of dating? And the first month of dating, honestly, like I've gotten into serious relationships with girls I've seen maybe 3 times in the first month. Like it's not that big a deal. The first month is just the tryout period.
Well, she said she's trying to prevent herself from catching feelings. There's a lot of, it's funny, now that you mention it, there's a lot of little dichotomies going on in this email.
Yeah.
Like she says they're taking it slow, but they're also seeing each other exclusively, yet there are no labels. Oh my God, I meant for this to be an easy one.
This is a disaster.
There's 2.
Let's go back to talking about Oshkosh Bagosh overalls. I don't think we resolved that conversation.
Yeah, the whole taking things slow, yet she's tracking how many dates there are. I get the impression she feels herself falling for this guy and it probably wants to see him more frequently and is therefore trying to decode whether or not he is seeing her enough to also be into her.
Yeah, you've hit on a good point here. The answer to her question is, well, the answer that we know that she's not looking for is that she clearly wants more.
Yes.
Like this question is not being asked by someone who's like, I think we're seeing each other too much. It's 1 or 2 times a week. I think we should see each other a half time a week. Wouldn't you say that's more normal? So clearly the question she's asking is not really the issue.
Yeah.
I think the issue is that she's not getting enough, as you said, and she's wondering why. And if she's starting to use words like usually in the first month of a relationship, something's off.
So you think that this is somehow unhealthy? I mean, this could be a totally healthy, burgeoning romance. You know, I just think it's too soon to tell. I kind of feel like maybe she's overthinking this and not just enjoying the early stages of a relationship.
I agree with that as well.
One of the most fleeting wonders in this world is the stage she's in right now.
Yes.
It's the moments where you're not sure. I would give, speaking of paying a lot of money to go back in time, I would pay a lot of money to go back to those first few months where we were getting to know each other. And we were both so excited about each other, but we were also,
not
100% sure that we were on the same page because you can only communicate that so much to each other. In those first few months without sounding like a crazy person.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I was just thinking if I could go back in time to that, I'm sure I would screw it up. I would be too confident.
Oh, interesting.
Or make too many jokes or be too comfortable.
You can't make too many jokes. We're getting off topic. Basically, Anonymous. I think our advice to you, we're not going to answer the question you asked because I don't think there's enough context and information. I think objectively, in the early stages, sure, 1 to 2 times a week is great. I think I'd be curious to know how much you're communicating outside of that, but it's also only been a month. Like, I just don't think there's enough to work with here. The answer we're going to give you is try to enjoy these early stages a bit more.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And if you catch feelings and end up hurt, that's okay. If we're going to go back to all the questions we get from people aged 20 to 25 who are like, I've never done anything. I've never gone on a date. I'm too afraid of getting hurt. And we're always like, go live your life. She's overthinking this.
She's overthinking it. And again, I don't mean to put the mirror on this, but if you're asking this question in the first month, then something might be a little off. Like both partners, if something is right, if 2 people meet and it's lightning bolt right, you should want to see each other 8 days a week. You probably won't be able to because of logistics, and also you don't want to seem like a complete psycho, as you mentioned. Mm-hmm. But you should both people should be like, I want as much as humanly possible of this person. And the fact that I can tell that there's this kind of like, we're not seeing each other enough feeling from her.
Yeah.
suggests to me that there might be the slightest of imbalances, but also, as you mentioned, like, why is there not more lightness? Why is there not more fun? Just enjoy. This should be like, there should be no cerebral thoughts. It should be purely like you're like animals. You're like two squirrels who met in a field and like are just wrapped up with each other. Is that what squirrels do? I don't know.
I don't know.
I've
but
never
that
seen the mating life of
That
squirrels.
sounds super cute, though.
Yeah,
two little squirrels all curled up together. Oh my God.
Oof. Oh, that's cute.
We will be looking that up on YouTube after this.
Yeah. And it will be there.
It will be there.
Even if they were forced into that position, like coercion or lack of food.
Wow, we're really tangenty today. Anonymous, I would enjoy this a bit more. I think it's possible there are other red flags here, but we just don't have enough information to know.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable like even broaching the subject of the red flags that I feel might be here because we don't have enough information. This could be just you being like, hey, you know what? I'm in this new relationship and I don't really know how to do this. Is 1 or 2 times a week fine?
Yeah.
That's totally fine. It's a little too cerebral for what should be happening in the first month, but I get it. I'm not sure that's the situation.
Or she could be playing it cool because she's trying to not catch feelings. She's afraid of coming on too strong. So he's maybe doing the same thing and is like, yeah, once a week is fine. But he secretly also wants to see her more. There's just not enough information.
Well, that's the other thing. It's like, if they're playing a game in the first month, look, I'm not going to say that everyone could be perfect and not play games in the first month of dating. It's 2021. This is the world we live in. But I will say that if both people are very psyched about it, there should be not many games.
Yep. All right, Anonymous. That was sort of a non-answer. But I think hopefully we're giving you some food for thought on that. Okay, good luck.
Relax.
All right, this next question is from Gail. Dear Shandy, I'm in a bit of a sticky situation! ! I have a pretty good guy friend that I went on a few dates with in high school 8 years ago, and we just moved close to each other and have been hanging out a lot. I was the one that called things off back in the day and never had feelings for him since. But 3 years ago, he confessed to me that he still wishes something happened between us and that he thinks I'm great and very attractive. This has stuck in my mind because it was 5 years since anything happened between us, and I always want to respect his feelings and boundaries when it comes to talking about guys. Well, recently I've developed a crush on his housemate. I don't want to do anything to ruin my friendship with my guy friend, but he has been dating someone for the past 2 years. But then again, he did date people in between high school and him confessing his feelings for me, and that's hard to forget. I want to ask his housemate on a date because I'm a bold woman and cute and fun, and I can tell his housemate has a crush on me too, but don't want to do anything to hurt my 8-year-long friendship. I'm also becoming good friends with all of the housemates and would be pretty bummed if things went sideways between me and my crush, which would probably mean I couldn't casually hang out at that house anymore / be friends with them. I've hung out with these housemates a total of 4 times, so things are still pretty new. My crush is incredibly adorable, sweet, and wholesome. He is wildly intelligent and well-educated. He shows so much genuine interest in learning about my interests. I love how I feel when I'm around him. What are your thoughts? Should I let more time pass before I make a move on this guy? Do you think this will hurt my friendship with my good friend? Is this crush that I've only developed a few weeks ago not worth ruining the friendships I've started making in the rest of that house and really appreciate? Sincerely, Gail.
Just some bookkeeping here. Sorry, I missed one part.
No.
Does the guy have a girlfriend?
Yeah, so he's been dating someone for 2 years, and they've been friends for 8 years. 3 years ago, he confessed that he still wishes something had happened between them. Okay. But that was after 5 years, and he had dated people in between. So I know my answer, but I'm going to let you go first and see if we're on the same page.
Okay. The girlfriend and the timing of when he last discussed his crush for her, on her? You have a crush on someone, not with someone. The other person may not share it.
True.
So the timing for me makes it okay to do this. But I think, just to be safe, she should probably run it by him first. Casually, not like some serious talk. Just be like, hey, I was, thinking I really like your roommate. Is that cool?
Yeah, actually, I hadn't thought of that, but I think that's a good point to add to the mix. The part that I'm focusing on more here is that she is friends with this whole group.
Yeah.
And so there's a general like beware of shitting where you eat ness here.
I was also going to use the shitting where you eat adage.
Yeah, and as she said, she was sort of focusing on that too. But to me, the boyfriend, well, the guy friend who she met this crush through, who she's been friends with for 8 years, who's been dating someone for 2 years. He has a girlfriend. He's had a girlfriend for 2 years. I don't care if he told her he was still wish something had happened 3 years ago. Like, it was 3 years ago. Yeah. They dated 8 years ago. It's just such ancient history that I don't think that's something that needs to be so delicately handled. But I agree. I think it's a courtesy thing. Just as if it were a female friend and you met a guy through your female friend, you'd be like, hey, I have a crush on that guy you introduced me to, or that roommate, or that friend of that friend. Just running it past you.
Yeah.
I want to ask him out. Is that cool?
I think there should be a little bit of a running it past.
Yeah. And again, I think that's more of a courtesy than anything.
A courtesy. Totally unnecessary, but just an adult courtesy.
Yeah.
And if he does protest vociferously, which would be extremely immature of him, then I have to say she probably shouldn't do it. It's not worth the risk. Too many problems will arise.
Yeah. For him to say no, he has a girlfriend.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
He can't say no.
If he says no, actually, I think she should reconsider her friendship with him.
Yeah, I think there are two things she needs to do, Gail. The first is I would give this at least another month of just gauging the situation.
Gauge well.
Yeah.
Don't jump in unless you know the temperature of the water.
Yeah, she says she knows he has a crush on her. If you know that's the case, then you could just enjoy these early stages of mutually crushing on each other. There's no rush. And make sure that the friendships are all in good places and that you really know what you're getting into, because again, the shitting where you eat. And then if it feels like, yeah, I have to do this, it's going to haunt me if I don't, then you do the courtesy chat with the guy friend.
I would even consider, this is a little roll of the dice.
Okay.
But I would consider getting to first base with the guy and then broaching the subject. You make a reservation at a really expensive, nice restaurant, and you don't know anything about it. You haven't seen a review. You haven't heard from anybody. You just like Googled some town and it was like, oh, here's a good restaurant. you want to get a little hors d'oeuvre, maybe. Just taste what's going on at that restaurant before you dive in for a $500 meal.
You know, at first I thought this was a ridiculous idea, but now that you mention it, it's not terrible.
Yeah, because what that'll allow her to do is have a not awkward conversation with the guy she's into, meaning like, hey, by the way, just a little background here. There's been an ongoing crush situation with your friend, and I don't want this to get messy.
Well, it becomes a thing.
You don't make it a thing.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Real casual.
That's what I'm saying, though. It would become a thing if you sit down with a friend, you have a conversation, it's becoming a thing. But you're right. They could kiss once and realize that they have no chemistry. And you cannot predict that stuff. Sometimes you think there's going to be great chemistry, and there isn't.
Yeah, you go to this restaurant. They've got like frozen fish sticks for your hors d'oeuvres. They cost $32 as an appetizer. Like you're like, thank God I only spent $32. I could have brought my whole family here, So get the kiss out of the way. I feel pretty strongly about that. Then when you've vetted the kiss, everything's good, juices are flowing, talk to him and talk to the other guy.
So you think they should have a drunken makeout?
Doesn't have to be drunk. It could be stone cold sober. Totally sober and weird.
I feel a little weird giving that advice.
I don't.
Well,
I'm not telling her to commit murder. I'm just telling her to kiss a guy that she has a crush on.
Yeah, and who she thinks has a crush on her. I guess as a woman, I can't help but feel like you're taking away something special there. Like, they could go on a magical first date that culminates in this kiss on her stoop.
I'm not saying she should jump on his like I'm saying that she should have a date. Like go out. Say like, hey, let's get a drink, or like whatever. Make it happen.
Okay.
If she wants him to make the first move or whatever, make it happen.
Okay.
Get on a date in a situation or a bar or a party or a situation where a kiss is going to happen if a kiss is going to happen. Okay. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Once the kiss happens, then she can make her moves. She'd be doing a lot of planning without understanding where
what she's signing up for. No, I don't disagree with that. I'm still hesitant to hop on board your advice, but I'm going to give you credit for it. So that's Andy's advice. Take it if you want. And no matter what, I think we both agree the courtesy conversation with the guy friend, if it does come to the point where you want to pursue it. Yeah. And I maintain, give it a few weeks of breathing room and just sort of observing and enjoying.
And just as an aside, I want to reiterate this. If he is very opposed to it, he's not a good friend.
There's an issue there.
I'm
sorry. I hate it when people have girlfriends, boyfriends, partners, and they're like, oh, well, I'm taken, but I don't want you to do that.
I've had ex-girlfriends that I was deeply in love with, and I've happily given them to friends of mine. It's like, that makes me happy. I'm like, here, have my woman. She's very good. No, but you know what I mean.
No,
I'm just like, okay, go ahead, enjoy. I'm glad you both are happy. I'm happy for you. This is not part of my romantic life anymore. Why do I have to own it forever? And I will say one more point.
Okay.
I truly pity, and I'm so glad that I didn't experience this, pity men who hold crushes for the better part of a decade on like some high school girl. Like, I am so glad I never experienced that. That's so crippling for your romantic life. It's like you're thinking about something that was never.
By the way, they went on a few dates
in high school. High school.
Yeah. No, this is
anything that
ridiculous.
happens in high school is totally irrelevant.
Yeah.
If I was holding a torch for a girl that I went on a few dates with in high school into my late 20s, 30 almost, I guess.
Late 20s, yeah.
I would feel terrible about myself. That's absolutely disgraceful. Okay. It's not romantic. This is not Disney. It's not rom-com. This is bad. You're an adult. Let go of girls that were never consummated in high school.
Yeah.
Let go of that.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
All right.
And it's sad. I feel badly for them. I really do.
Okay. Good tangent. I liked that. Mm-hmm. You're making a good point. I think this could apply to everyone.
Everyone. Don't hold torches for anyone.
Well,
unless that person has kerosene. Unless they have something that's going to keep that torch lit. Don't hold the torch.
All right.
I don't even understand. What does that mean, hold a torch for someone?
I have no idea.
No idea.
Oh, I'm sure people will tune in to tell us.
Hold a torch. What does that mean? So like you're keeping a light alive. Like you're keeping
Isn't
the
there
torch
also hold
lit?
a candle?
No.
Oh.
No, you can't hold a candle to something.
Oh,
meaning
yeah. You
you're
hold
not
a torch
nearly
for
as good.
someone, yeah.
Yeah, that's the competition thing. But I would guess it means that you're keeping a torch lit. You can't just have a torch lit forever. It needs fuel. Like you need to keep.
Okay.
You need to keep like putting oil in or a new rag or like blowing on it or something. I don't know. I'm not an expert in torch maintenance, but
pyro expert.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think we can. Yeah. Can we wrap?
Move on.
All right, Gail. I think we've made our thoughts known. Good luck. Hopefully, this should be pretty easy.
Yeah, this is an easy one, sort of.
Worry a bit less about the guy friend's feelings in this. It's been 8 years. He's had his chance. Yeah. And it was a couple of dates. You were kids then.
Come on.
Yeah. She's sweet to be so concerned, but I think the bigger concern is shitting where you eat.
Yeah. And by the way, I did say first base. That could be anywhere up to fourth base. just caveat there.
All right, moving on. All right, this next question is from Mel. Dear Shandy, I have had a crush on my coworker for a few months. I feel like the attraction is mutual, but he never makes a real move. He tells me I'm beautiful, compliments me at work, and says things like, when are we going out? And I want to take you out, just you and me. But he never follows up with any real plan. I've always responded in a positive way. I said, I would like that. I said, tell me when. You're the one that's super busy. He does work a lot. He has my phone number. He has never called or texted to make any actual plan to hang out on our days off. Sometimes we go out for a drink after work with coworkers, but that doesn't count. This sort of exchange has taken place about 3 to 4 times. He says he wants to take me out in a way that sounds more than just friends hanging out, but then never sets a date, time, or place, etc. No follow-up. When we have been out with coworkers after work, he said, I want to take you out. At this point, I kind of made a joke about it and said, you've said that, but when? I would like that. He replied, is that just the alcohol talking? I had half a beer at this point. I said, no, I would like that. He said, I'm serious. And I said, so am I. In a flirty way, but still no real action or plan to meet up. He rubs my shoulders and finds some way to touch me in a playful, flirty way when we are out. I know the interest is there, but still nothing has come of it. Why does he keep telling me I'm beautiful and acting interested, but never actually follows up? He has said, text me to me like he wants me to follow up and text him and make a plan to meet up, but I've chased men before and it never ends well. I want to be pursued. I've given him plenty of positive feedback and acted interested and complimented him as well. I think he knows I like him, but it's like he wants me to make the first move, and I'm not. I'm not interested in something casual. I want to date him, and I want him to want to date me too. I have a feeling he's only interested in something casual. That's why he wants me to make the first move. I feel like a lot of guys are like this. When I express I'm not looking for something casual, it scares them away. I don't want to sleep with someone who's keeping their options open and won't commit. I don't need us to be boyfriend-girlfriend right away, but at least exclusive before we have sex. I just don't want to end up hurt. And then she followed up with another mini email that said, I just want to add that he has a lot more dating experience than me, so you can rule out fear of rejection. I know he knows I would say yes. He is definitely not shy. Also, when we have gone out for a drink after work with coworkers, I am always one and done. I'm not a big drinker, and I also do not drink and drive, so that's why nothing further has happened at one of our after work hangouts. When we are flirting, I've been tempted to stay longer and have another drink, but I feel like if I kept going, something could happen, and that's not how I want things to happen. A casual hookup after work is not what I want, because I've been there, done that, sadly too many times, and it has never resulted in any kind of meaningful relationship, even when I thought the attraction and crush was mutual and I thought it could be a relationship. I'm just trying to break old patterns. And then finally, she added ages in a separate email.
Good.
I'm an avid listener and can't believe I forgot to include our ages.
Nice.
We are both 36.
Okay.
So according to Andy, he's a grown man by now.
Full grown man.
And they live in the Boston area.
Okay. One other question I would have had is what is are they on the same level in the company?
Yeah, she said coworker. She didn't say boss.
Okay, but if it's a boss, it makes everything different. If it's a coworker, I'm just going to assume they're on the same level. They're like cubicle buddies, basically.
Yeah, I get the vibe from this that I feel like she would have said my boss.
She would have said,
right?
I think they're on the same level,
It sounds
similar
like it.
level.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I'm going to assume that.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, that does change things,
especially nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, this guy's annoying, but that's besides the point. This is not.
It's not uncommon.
I was just about to say, not uncommon behavior.
That's why I chose this question. I was like, wow, this is something you see a lot, is a guy that's like, oh, I want to take you out. You're so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then it's like, what?
So
where's the,
yeah.
Now you have my phone number.
There's a lot of things happening. I have a theory about this, but there are a lot of guys who love to flirt. They like it gives them confidence to get that attention. They have a girl who are like, oh, she's receptive to my flirting. I have a girl that I like, or I like to date around. I don't want to commit to this. I work with her. I don't want to show where I eat, but I like this feedback. It gives me every day. I come into work and I'm like, and she's like, oh, and I'm like,
You sound like you've been there before, Andy.
Perchance.
Yeah. No, I don't. Trust me, I've been there too in a workplace. There's something just sort of, even if it's never consummated, it's almost better if it's never consummated.
It's better, but it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes.
If it's consummated, it could just suddenly become a mess or just end.
Yeah.
So I think that's at play for sure. I also think what's at play is that we live in a time when I think, and I'm going a little out on a limb, but I have a feeling this might be happening as well. We live in a time when it's a little dangerous for a guy in a workplace to, go for a girl that he doesn't want to marry. Like if he's just like, I like you, I want to have sex with you, and I don't know what's going to happen after that. That's a little dangerous in today's climate. Even if he's probably going to be fine. I think there's this kind of sense like I should be a little careful about making the first move. Now, if she makes the first move, then it's fair game. It's, I didn't do anything. She made the first move.
Yeah.
So I think there's some of that at play too, I would guess.
Okay.
But I think mainly this is a guy who gets off on the flirt. He gets off on the reciprocation of the flirt, the confidence. And if she does make a move And he knows one. It's also a little cowardly because he should just ask her out.
Yeah.
But he's waiting for her to make a move and to make the move that he wants.
Yeah.
Like he wants it to be all his way. He wants her to be like, hey, what are you doing tonight? At like 10 o'clock. And he's like, oh, easy. Boom, done. She made the move. I don't have to worry about a relationship. I can, sleep with her, get whatever I want out of this and have this funky, like, sexy workplace relationship thing. Casual, obviously. And he's not getting that.
Well, so you just said obviously. So is it so obvious to you that he only sees this casually?
I think so.
Because I feel like that's sort of what she's getting around asking here.
I think so.
Yeah, I agree. The vibe I'm getting from this is if he really saw something with her and just seemed really interested, he would have made an effort by now, unless he really is afraid of making that move from a, how it looks optically perspective. That was poor grammar, but you knew what I meant. If he's really afraid of how it's going to come off.
Again, that's a secondary theory. I have said...
Oh, I don't get the feeling that that's the reason this guy hasn't texted
That's not
her.
the primary reason.
Yeah.
That's just something I want to keep in mind, that it's a possibility.
Totally.
I don't want to rule out. But I have said this many times. If you are a woman who is worried that a man is not giving you what you want in these kind of situations, think about this. If he really, really, really wanted to be with you, he would make it happen. Mm-hmm. And if he really, really, really wanted to be with you, and this was his way of getting there, you don't want to be with that guy.
That's the point that I was hoping you would come to, and that Yeah, I have brought this up before, over the past year plus of Dear Shandy, but there's something about this level of passivity where it's like, if it's this from the onset, just to even go on a date.
Yeah.
What does that look like in a life together? And actually, there's always the argument, show don't tell. He's telling her how interested he is. Where's the showing? Mm-hmm. Even when she's like, I would like that. He's like, is that the alcohol talking? It actually reminds me of the Sex and the City episode with Miranda where she gets hit on by the guy in like a hot dog costume.
I like the way you're looking at me like I should know the scene.
It's actually, never mind. It's not the hot dog costume guy. It's a construction worker. And he's always like, oh, come on, baby. I'll give you what you need. I'll give you what you want. Right. And she's just like, ugh. And then finally, because she hasn't had sex in a long time, she's like, fine, let's go fuck. Oh, yeah. And he's like, easy, lady. I have a wife. I'm married.
That scene. It's a famous scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a great, great encapsulation of that messed up dynamic.
Yes. And I kind of get a bit of that vibe from this where it's like, oh, you're so beautiful. Totally. Let's going out. And then she's like, yeah, I would like that. He's like, oh, is that the alcohol talking?
It's like, whoa, we work together. Easy.
Yeah. Okay, so moving forward, because she does have a crush on him. I kind of wish she didn't, because then I'd be like, give him the finger and move on with your life. But because I am the kind of person where like information is power. You want to be able to say, okay, scene, moving on. I know, I figured that out and I'm going to move on. Do you think she should just send him a text and just see what happens while sticking to her guns in every other way? Meaning, not letting it become a casual thing, making sure he takes the reins from there, et cetera, et cetera.
Honestly, she's done more than enough already to make this happen. I think it's time to take the temperature in the room down. About 25 degrees.
Okay, so you think she should just move on?
Yeah. Move on, not with prejudice, but move on in spirit. Just move on.
In spirit.
Always, say like, look, this could happen. If he decides to grow some and make a legitimate move and stop playing around, then, I'll be open to it. But until that happens, I've moved on in spirit. Okay.
So my advice is slightly different just because, again, I know how much something like this can haunt you and there's always the what if. Mm-hmm. And so if we are to consider the what if of him just being afraid to make that first move on paper because they work together and he's the man and all that stuff, I think she could send him a text that's like, you said you wanted to do something, like set a date. Mm-hmm. Like basically hand it to him on a silver platter.
What makes you think she hasn't done that already?
She says that she has refused because she wants him to make the first
she hasn't
move.
sent. She did say she didn't
said
send
that
a
he
text.
has her
Okay.
phone number, but he's never texted.
Got
He's
it.
never called.
Got it.
And so the reason I say that is that just makes it much easier for him to do it, which is irritating. And I do not think that sets a good precedent for a potential relationship together, honestly. But for me, it's the information. So if then he's like, oh my God, she texted me this restaurant, this day, this time, and then like really sets about wanting to date her, then, you never know. Maybe that it really was that text that was the impetus for it all, for the ball finally rolling.
Yes. For information gathering purposes, I agree. With a heavy heart, I would give that advice. Because she's giving up the reins at that point.
Yeah.
Like he should be doing that.
Yeah.
And look, there's another side to this. Like I've been making it like the male-oriented version. Like he's getting some confidence boost out of this, because she's constantly reciprocating his flirting. But it also is the other way around.
Totally. I'm glad you're mentioning that.
Yeah, maybe this is what it should be forever. And they can both get a confidence boost by the other one, blowing smoke up their ass. Forever.
Endlessly blowing smoke.
Let me tell you something. I worked office jobs for years.
Yeah.
And I tell you, there's some real drudgery there. It is not fun to go in, wake up early in the morning, go to that office, work there, have your boss tell you to do stuff you don't want to do, and then go home and it's dark out and everyone else is going home with a miserable look on their face. It's nice to break that rhythm by having someone at work who you flirt with.
Yeah.
I've done it many times. And many, if not almost all, have not been consummated in any way.
You're making a great point. It's very possible this is the purpose this relationship is meant to serve. The other thing I'd be curious to know is if her crush was already in existence before he was coming on to her so strong, or if she has sort of developed a crush because he has been so forward with her.
Right.
I think that matters because
I think you make a good point. You make a good point. Is this an artificial crush based on the heavy-handedness of the flirt?
Yeah, because if you actually read her email, she says, I've had a crush on my coworker for a few months. I feel like the attraction is mutual. He never makes a move. It just sounds like he's been complimenting her and saying, when are we going out? And it's just been a sort of heavy-handed flirting.
Yeah.
What about him are you crushing on? And did it exist before he was making moves?
Yeah, it's a good point.
Making
it's
moves.
a good point.
Making verbal moves.
It's a good point.
And if it is that, then I 100% agree with you that this is where this should stay. It should never be consummated. Just mutually blow smoke and enjoy.
Can I tell you something? Some of my most memorable and wonderful relationships have never been consummated, and they've been romantic work situations that are just, there's this tension. It's not your friends, but there's always that little bit of flirting. I love those. I wish I could have more of those.
Yep.
Not now necessarily, but I wish I had fostered more of those.
Yeah. And we also have to mention, I swear we'll move on. God, we always go longer than I mean to, but we should mention too that this is another shitting where you eat situation.
Oh yeah. It's bad. It's always a bad idea unless you're like, I'm marrying this person.
Yeah.
I'm going to be pregnant in 3 months with this person. It's not a good move.
No, it's not. You have to be pretty damn sure that this is something worth it.
Yeah.
And do we think it is?
It doesn't seem like it is.
I wish that she had included a few sentences about him showing legitimate interest in what she does outside of work and like, what the kind of person she is. It just sort of feels like, oh, you're beautiful. Like when can I take you out?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't feel real. It feels like a rom-com scene where the work guy is the annoying guy, like the arrogant guy. It doesn't sound like the work guy is the leading man.
No, he's not. He's not. The leading man is sitting in another cubicle. We haven't been introduced to him yet.
It's true. Okay. All right, Mel. I feel like if we were to distill this down to a piece of advice, because we've gone on many tangents today, first, I would look inward and make sure that you actually have a crush on him, for him, that goes beyond just this workplace, the mutual blowing smoke. Mm-hmm. I think that's worth mentioning.
I agree.
I actually think that's very likely.
Yeah.
Like 70% likely. Based on how little she talked about him as a human and his interest in her as a human.
It's a big turn on to be flirted with.
Yes, especially someone who's that effusive in today's day where guys don't really do that anymore.
No,
I can see how
absolutely.
you could get attached to that and think there's something there that there isn't.
Definitely.
Second, shitting where you eat. I understand that you want to date the guy, but he has made it, I'm getting heavy casual vibes from this. If he wanted to date her, like date her, he would have made a move by now, workplace or not.
Yep.
Especially with her reciprocation.
Yep.
And third, if you can look at those and be like, it's worth it. I definitely have a crush on him. Even shitting where you eat, it's worth it. I know there's something there. Then, and maybe you don't hop on. Oh, it's with a heavy heart you give this advice.
Very heavy.
I also with a heavy heart give this advice, but I think just from a knowing standpoint, as in having peace of mind, you could send that first text, not too flirty, but just sort of open that gate and see what he does from there while sticking to your guns in every other way.
And as I said, in many, many ways, many times, I look back on some of my workplace flirt relationships as fondly as any relationship I've ever had. I in one in particular, to this day, I still occasionally go back and think about it. I'm talking to you, Kate.
Is it actually Kate?
Yeah, her name was Kate. I'm sure she was like, well, I wasn't flirting with you. What the hell does this guy think he is? No, but it was Kate.
And I'll also say this, the times in my life where it has been consummated, it often made things messy.
Oh, yeah.
Like in a way that where you kind of regretted doing it.
I regretted both my workplace romances. And the other person did too.
There you go. So something to bear in mind.
Yep.
All right, Mel, good luck. All right, this next question is from Oliver.
Oliver?
Yes.
A man.
A man.
Wow.
I know. It's exciting, right?
Yeah.
Plus Oliver. I mean, is there a better name than Oliver?
Oliver is a fantastic name.
Yes.
And also a good name for a pet.
Yes. Yes. And a musical.
And a musical. You can't go wrong. Yeah. Oliver. If you ever have to think of a name on the spot for anything, go with Oliver.
Dear Shandy, first off, thank you for taking the time to answer my question.
You're welcome.
I love your podcasts, though I haven't been watching them as of late due to my following situation.
This better be a really messed up situation.
Here goes. I had a long distance relationship and engagement for about 2 months for just under 4 years. So engaged for 2 months, 4-year relationship, long distance, before it all went away. I am in my late 20s, male, and she is in her early 30s. We first met when we were interviewing for jobs and formed a brief but strong connection. We kept in touch. We ultimately committed to jobs on opposite ends of the coast, but decided to make it work as an exclusive couple. Our jobs run in 4-year contracts, which meant our long distance would end in 2022. Fast forward about 3 years and we are both very busy. Our relationship sometimes felt stagnant in the fact that we were not physically present in the same place. Despite the distance, we spent most of our few vacations a year visiting each other and taking turns seeing each other on the different coasts every few months. I still feel like she is the one. We share the same life goals, want the same things, and enjoy the same interests and hobbies. I proposed to her in April of 2021. Life was great. In July of 2021, she met another guy in her city who shared the same passion for dancing as she did.
Oh, dear.
Initially, it was platonic. He knew she was engaged, but inevitably became emotionally close to her. She called me that month and told me she felt like she was emotionally cheating on me because she was getting attached to this other guy. I initially played the peacekeeper and said she should keep talking to him.
Ooh.
I wasn't going to be controlling and control who she could and couldn't talk to. Very impressive. At the same time, I was also getting close to another girl in my own city, and to try to make things fair, I proposed to make our engagement an open relationship. I felt like the new and shiny boy would fade into the background and she would realize I was truly the one. Hindsight is 2020. We agreed that we would not have any sexual activity with the opposite sex. The open relationship lasted for maybe 3 weeks before I decided to close it unilaterally. For my own account, I spoke with this other girl, realized there was nothing there, and hoped that my fiancé would arrive to the same conclusion. Soon after, she became distant towards me, and the small affectionate things we used to say to each other, she wouldn't reciprocate back. She flew to see me in August of 2021 and told me in person she didn't think she could marry me. There were things she realized that I had not done enough these past 3 years of long distance, and it took this other guy doing things for her to realize. When it was her birthday, the other guy delivered a birthday cake to my fiancé. When she got sick, he would deliver things like medications and hot soup for her to get better. I had not done any of these things for her and realized I may not have been giving her what she needed, feeling loved. Things like being more proactive and trying to arrange plans to see her. In my defense, I was passive, but also planned most of our vacations together, like looking up Airbnbs to stay at and most of the activities for our trips. She hadn't communicated this need to me. She wanted me to do the actions like the ones mentioned above, not because she told me, but because I wanted to. I realized I had not met many of her needs throughout the long-distance relationship. After 4 to 6 weeks of the engagement ending, I was partially moved on and sent her a cordial message on text, thanking her for everything she had done and that I was going to move on. The next day, she sent me a long text telling me she had been missing me a ton.
Oh, dear.
And I was still the life partner she wanted given our shared vision for the future. I was shocked, but hopeful again. She booked her own tickets, came to visit me for a weekend soon after. I thought things were just like before. At one point, I said, "I love you" to her, but she did not repeat it back. Once she flew back, I noticed that again, she wasn't expressing the little affectionate things on text. 4 days later, on a video call, she told me that she truly wanted to work things out with me, which is why she flew to see me, but that she no longer had feelings for me. I broke down and cried. Soon after, I didn't know what to say, so I said a quick bye while sobbing and hung up. I never again reached out. It has been about 2 weeks now since that happened. I unfollowed her on social media, though she still follows me. I can still see that she's active on her messaging app, WhatsApp, that she only used to message me. She checks it every now and again, I think to see if I'm online or not, possibly. I think she may be wanting to reach out to see how I'm doing. My question is, given the shaky ending on the phone we had, should I reach out to her and ask how she's doing? Do I open the communication between us, or should I just not reach out to her, period? Did the special connection we share mean anything? Should I have fought for her when this other guy was getting emotionally attached rather than not be chauvinistic enough? I know I shouldn't hold out any hope at this point, but since she actually committed to a job in my city that she actually wanted for her career starting in a few months, and she cannot break her contract without penalties, maybe I can wait to reach out until then. Thank you in advance, Oliver.
Oliver lived up to his name. Humble,
yeah,
strong.
Can we talk about the taking of responsibility in here?
Taking responsibility
for things, frankly, I'm not sure he should be taking responsibility for.
This guy is an angel.
Yeah,
and you know me, I usually do not take the guy's side.
Yeah, it's depending. Yeah,
this is a clear winner.
This is a classy, quality man. Yeah. Okay, Oliver. Do you want to give him the truth, or should I?
No, I mean, the truth is so obvious.
Yeah. Sometimes you need an outsider's perspective to know what you should do.
As our not late, he's still alive, our former president said, "Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. I'm not getting fooled again." That never gets unfunny. No. Yeah, really I mean, that was maybe the funniest thing a president's ever said.
Comedic gold right there.
Timing was impeccable.
Yeah.
You absolutely, positively are not allowed to reach out to
Don't
her.
do it.
If by chance she's in your city and you guys happen to cross paths in the street, whatever. You can choose to engage.
Oh, yeah, if you happen to pass each other on the street, but I don't think he should make any plans, even if she comes to his city. More so when she's in your city, even more. Go from 0 to -50. Yeah.
No, absolutely, positively not. She is one of those people. This sounds exactly like one of my closest friends. I never told you about this relationship, but I honestly almost feel like he's ghostwriting this.
Oh,
it's
really?
so similar.
Oh.
But it's not. There are a couple of tiny differences.
Who is it?
I'm not going to tell you.
Just tell me.
I'll tell you later. What did they care? I'm going to tell you a name that no one knows who it is.
I can just bleep it.
It's
okay.
Happy?
I am.
Okay, good. But the fact that she's the type, first of all, in these long distance relationships, sometimes you think you really, really know the person, but you don't really, really, really know the person. And you didn't really, really know the person because what she did was the blind side, right?
Yeah.
It was totally out of character, but it wasn't out of character. This is who she is. She's the type of person who's willing to play with your emotions when she's unsure, completely unsure, to tell you that, oh, I made a big mistake. Oh, I'm coming back. I love you. You're the person I want to spend the rest of my life with.
Well, she did not say I love you back.
Okay, fine. She didn't say I love you. That was the one thing.
Yeah.
She may have said it in the text. We don't know that. But, and then to come back and be like, nah. That's not the person you knew. That's
okay. That's the key takeaway. Sorry to interrupt you, but that is the key takeaway. Oliver, if there's one thing you need to focus on, and this is, I think, glaring to both of us, it's the fact that regardless of what you shared, and I think it was real, and I don't want you to think that the 4 years were for nothing, but ultimately how this ended and why it ended, she is not who you thought she was.
Right.
And that doesn't mean that it was all a waste or not for real. It just means that should give you the clarity you need to move forward and be like, I'm good.
And I would like to add, to his credit, he did everything right. You, Oliver, you did everything right. You almost did it too right. You textbooked what you should have done. Be happy that you didn't make a single mistake in dealing with this. And it is now over. It is over. Done. Don't go back. Move on. You are a good guy.
Yeah.
I know. Oliver. We knew right away.
Yeah, Oliver.
Just
How
the name.
could an Oliver be bad?
There's never been a bad Oliver. Name a bad Oliver in history. Name one single Oliver that was bad in the history of the human race.
There's a couple things I'm hung up on here. The first is, like, I give the girl credit for realizing she was getting emotionally attached to a guy. But what I don't like is that she put it on Oliver to make a decision about that. Like, that's on her.
Yep.
He's like, oh, continue to hang out with him. Like, I trust you. You know, like, he's trying to be a supportive, non-controlling partner from the other side of the country.
Yeah.
I don't think he did the wrong thing here. This would have been on her. This is part of being monogamous. It is. It's part of being monogamous is keeping that in check. And I know that he, was talking to someone else too, partially to sort of make things even, which is human nature.
Totally fine.
So I'm not pretending he's some saint here, but
he's
like, it's a lot easier to be like, yeah, let's open it up when I'm also interested in seeing what could happen over here. But what gets me is, not every partner in the world is going to be the type to like send you soup when you're sick and send you a cake on your birthday. And I would be very curious to know if the guy doing this, the other man, would be doing this if she weren't engaged to someone else.
Right.
And look,
or to be fair, if he had been seeing her for 3 or 4 years.
Yes. Okay, so it's showing a level of thoughtfulness, but I also, things like that, I'm like, okay, so to me, that's gifts.
I've never sent you soup when you were on an opera gig. I've never sent you soup and you've been sick. Have I ever sent you soup?
No.
I never even thought about sending you soup. It never once crossed my mind. No soup. No soup for you. Ever.
Anyway, my point is, like, okay, that's a sweet gesture, but I put almost zero stock in that.
Zero
like
chicken
she's
stock?
Being zero chicken
Sorry,
stock.
I'm gonna resist.
Or vegetable stock.
Yeah,
any stock.
In our case, vegetable stock. Hopefully.
All I'm saying, Oliver, is I don't know if you should blame yourself for not being caring or thoughtful enough for sending cakes and soup and flowers and whatever else. I think that's just based on the kind of a relationship you have. And apparently this is something she cares about in a relationship. And as you yourself said, she did not communicate that to you. Not everyone is going to think of that.
No.
I don't think that makes them a bad partner because they don't think, oh, you're sick, I'm going to send you soup. Sure, it's sweet, but it's not like if you don't do that, you're bad.
No relationship that was meant to be has ever been ruined by the lack of soup sending, ever, in history. That's not a reason. Okay,
so to give Oliver advice moving forward. Oliver, oh my God. You are not allowed to reach out to her at all.
No.
She hurt you. This is over, first of all.
Oh, over.
I would be very, very cautious about, like, even if she does come back, which, by the way, I think is a strong possibility because of the type of person I think she is.
If
sounds...
Those who leave, come back, will again leave, come back.
Yes.
And maybe repeat, leave, come back.
Yeah.
Until you stop the pattern, stop the cycle of leaving and coming back. Those are the people you never want to be dealing with.
Yes.
Ever.
Yeah. And we had that episode with Amy Chan, Breakup Boot Camp.
Yeah.
Oliver, I would suggest you watch that because little things like checking her Instagram and WhatsApp to see when she was last online, and then going down these spirals of thinking, oh, is she checking to see if I'm online? And then wondering, therefore, is she wanting to reach out and waiting for you to reach out? This is not healthy. You will not move on doing this.
And I'm glad you brought that back up because it's so different nowadays. Like 30 years ago, you broke up with someone, that was it. Like, you don't check anything. What are you going to check? The yellow pages? White? Like, there's nothing to check.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
You move on.
Which is a gift.
Easily. It's a gift.
Yeah.
Now it's so hard to move on. Yeah. You are just infused.
Yeah.
With
options.
360 degrees of ways to see what they're doing, where they are, who they're with. It's torture.
Yeah.
You have to be able to, and it's easy for me to say, because I never really experienced, I sort of got the tail end of it. But I never fully experienced this in my real heart of dating years, is you have to be able to have the self-control, which is very easier said than done, but you have to have extreme self-control nowadays to shut it down. Don't look at the Facebook. Don't look at Instagram. Don't look at TikTok. Or what's the other one? Parlor. God, bad things happen on Parlor. Don't ever look at Parlor, regardless of your relationship status, ever. But you have to say no to caring about what she's doing. She's gone. It's over. It's like a fish. If you were fishing and the fish got off your hook, are you going to swim in the ocean for the rest of your life looking for that fish? No, you just throw the bait back in and you catch another fish.
Oliver, I feel an overwhelming sense from your email that you are not selfish enough.
Oliver is too good a person. He's too good for this world.
Yeah, and he's blaming himself for not sending her soup. It's like...
It's ridiculous. Become a worse person, Oliver.
Think of yourself now.
Yeah.
She has made it clear where you rank in her life. And that's, you were engaged and now that's over. You learned so much from this. And what you should hopefully have learned you don't want is someone who, when they realize that they're cheating on you emotionally, just continue to nurture that other relationship.
Yes.
I hope that came out correctly, but you knew what I meant.
There.
Now you have this information moving forward. Please do not reach out to her. It is only going to hurt you. It's going to feed her ego. And it's also going to make her, frankly, like, let's say she ever did want to come back. Like, if we're going to talk about this from a strategy game playing perspective, him reaching out wouldn't make her want him more. The way to make her want him more is to move on, meet someone else, live a full and happy, enriched life.
Yeah.
It's true.
If you wanted to gain respect for you for whatever reason, you shouldn't care. Just don't give her anything.
It's so true. Not that we're endorsing this game playing mentality, but hopefully that can add an extra tiny ounce to that weight on that side. The scale is heavily in favor of you never reaching out. Do not do it.
And there are times when you shouldn't reach out just because it's probably the right thing to do. And there are times when not reaching out is a home run. This is a not reaching out home run.
Home run.
Yeah.
Yep.
No questions asked.
No questions asked. Get on the apps. Go on dates with other people. Stop checking Instagram. Stop checking WhatsApp. Yeah. Do all the things, as Amy Chen would say, to no longer reinforce the neural pathways of her being the source of dopamine for you. So find other things
that provide
you with.
Not sure that works.
All right, Oliver.
Send us a picture. I got girls for you. I don't.
All right, Oliver.
Don't have any girls.
All right, Oliver. You're young. You have so many options. Go out there and see what else is out there.
This is the best time of your life.
There will be women who do not take you for granted, with or without the soup.
Yeah, don't worry about soup.
All right, good luck. This next question is from Kirsty. Kirsty. Dear Shandy, this is pretty simple. The guy I'm dating chews obnoxiously loud and fast. I literally stare at his mouth sometimes in disgust as he's devouring a meal. I'm a direct person, but I'm also Midwestern, so it feels pretty rude to point out a habit of someone's just because it's annoying as fuck. I really like this guy, but I cannot get over the chewing. How can I bring this up? Is he not my person because of how annoyed I am by the chewing? I know Andy's thoughts on being with the person who annoys one the least, so I'm nervous about this. Really in a pickle here. My ears can't continue on much longer. Appreciate the discourse in advance and love the pod/show. Kirsty. I knew you'd like this one.
Oh, this is an age-old problem.
Yep.
Chewing. If this was Family Feud, the number one answer to what annoys you about your partner would be...
It would be top
chewing
5.
style.
Yeah, top 5.
Possibly top 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think of another. What's another thing? Like cleanliness, messiness would be up there.
Snoring,
yeah. But that's something they can't control, really.
says the snorer in this relationship.
They can control.
Okay, Kirsty, I think it's too harsh to say that this isn't her person because of this.
Too harsh.
Yes. You are a direct person. I think you should take advantage of your directness, with or without the Midwesternness, and in a lighthearted, fun, sweet way, address it.
Yeah. And I would like to say, just to clear the air, this person is a monster.
The chewer?
The chewer. Chewing, there is a dark place in hell for terrible chewers. But that aside, I want to be extra clear, just because I'm going to play the psychologist for a second.
Yeah.
Is the chewing really a metaphor for other issues you have in a relationship? And if it's not, I'm not going to go there. I'm not suggesting this. I'm just saying that sometimes in my personal experience, if I really don't like a chewing, there's other things I don't like.
You don't like a chewing?
Yeah, a chewing.
Wait, have you ever once not liked my chewing?
Yeah, there are a few times where I don't like your chewing.
Wait, how come you haven't said anything?
Well, so I love you too much. It doesn't matter.
Wait, what thing have I chewed?
Sometimes you have like a little too much open mouth chewing. It's usually when you really like something. You get a little carried away.
Okay, so that actually is a perfect segue. I think 99.9% of the time that someone does something that annoys other people, they're not aware they're doing it.
Yep.
Imagine how great the world would be is if we all knew what annoyed other people about us, and then we could change it.
I think you are taking too big a step here. I think that the world is in perfect equilibrium with the amount of annoying things that happen and the amount of times those annoying things are called out. I think too much honesty can cause strife. More strife than good.
Okay, but that's in general.
Do I really need to tell you that once in a blue moon, your chewing is slightly annoying to me? What good is that going to do?
Yeah, I feel like I tell you whenever something's annoying to me, though.
You do. You really do. Is my chewing ever annoying to you?
No, but you do other things.
I'm a good chewer. I've been aware of my chewing for a long time.
Well, now I will be aware of mine. I don't know if I've ever noticed chewing in someone else as being an annoying thing.
Oh, I have.
Oh, well, evidently.
Many times.
Yeah. Okay. So I disagree with you. I think, in general, in the world, too much honesty, sure. But everything else she loves about this guy, she should tell him lightly, funnily, in a moment that is not like, ooh, we need to talk.
I agree with you.
It could just be like, you do this thing.
Well, why don't we role play this? Why don't we this is a great opportunity.
Oh,
Here,
God.
Okay, let's do it. I'm gonna really be real about this. I'm gonna act like the way I think he's gonna react. Okay. There we go.
Well, it's not gonna happen now because I don't think it should be done in the moment.
Oh, I think it should be done in the moment.
You think?
Oh, yeah. You can't have a talk about chewing. You got to say it in, maybe. Ooh, this is a tough one. I don't have an answer to this. You have to play this one by ear. But let's make believe it's in the moment.
No, my advice is to not do it in the moment. So finish your meal and then I'll bring it up later. Okay. So meal concluded.
That was great.
You've washed your hands.
What a good dinner.
Yeah,
Thank you for cooking.
And
that
then,
was so lovely. I love you so much.
And
Thank you.
if this were a movie or a show, a thing would come across the screen that says 2 hours elapsed.
Yes.
And now you and I are watching, we're Netflix and
Chilling.
maybe...
Not chilling after that chilling. There's no chill.
Okay, well, we're Netflixing, maybe chilling down the road. Okay, all right.
All right.
Andy?
Yes, love.
Can we talk about something? Ooh. Oh, wait, I said we can't talk. Okay, hold on. This is harder than
I don't want to do this. I got to go to the bathroom. Take 2.
Okay, no, sorry. Right. Redo. Andy?
Yes. What's up?
There is something that I want to bring up, but I say this because I care about you so much and I like you so much. And I want you to know that this is an open forum and that if you feel the same way about me for anything, that I also want you to bring it up with me.
I swear, I only slept with her once. One time. That was it. And it didn't mean anything.
Okay. So funny. Haha.
Oh, yeah. Right. Okay, let's start. Go ahead. Seriously.
So I'm really sensitive to sounds. And I've been like this my whole life. And I'm saying this again because I care about you so much and I don't want to be annoyed by little things you do. I just want you to know that if you could tone down your chewing, sometimes you smack too much. It's just a little too loud. It's a little too like aggressive. If you could just maybe close your mouth a bit more when you chew, it would make a world of difference to me. It's like the only thing I don't love about you. And I don't want to spend time thinking about something I don't love about you.
Wow. That's so sweet of you I mean, I really respect you for that.
Oh, yeah. Was that a success?
Yeah, I'm going to really, God, thank you. That is so sweet. I'm going to come over here and love you. Thank you.
Did I do that well?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Are you trying to chill now?
Let's get back to this movie. Would you like some popcorn?
I don't think that's bad.
No,
I think
that was
works.
Done perfectly.
Thank you.
No, I'm making a joke about it, but it wasn't a joke. That was exactly the way it should be done.
Yeah, sweetly.
Sweetly.
And also,
and
if there's anything that I do that annoys you, I want you to tell me too.
We're talking about a shit sandwich where you ever go to the place you get a sandwich where like it's whatever, like a roast beef sandwich. And it's like 2 ginormous thick pieces of bread. And there's like 1 thin piece of whatever the sandwich is called in the middle.
Yeah.
This is the kind of sandwich you must make this.
Yes. It's a bullshit sandwich, but except the bread is not bullshit.
No,
like you really do like the guy. It's all authentic.
It is a brick oven baked focaccia. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful bread, thick. And in the middle, there's this slight smear of bullshit. You can't even barely smell it.
Yeah.
You don't taste it. It's just like an essence.
Yes.
That's the kind of sandwich you got to give on this one.
Yeah.
And you should not, you're right. I was wrong. You should not do it while the bad chewing is taking place.
Yeah, because it makes a person self-conscious.
Yeah.
And I haven't brought this up yet, but if I had brought it up, I would be maintaining that if he handles this poorly, there's something else wrong.
Yeah.
If she delivers it really well, like if he gets defensive, like he can get self-conscious, that's only natural. But if he gets like, how dare you, like I'm like offended you said anything. You know, like part of being in a relationship is navigating things that annoy you about each other.
It's number one. That's why you should always aim at the outset to go for the least annoying possible. Yes. That way you don't have to deal with these things.
Yeah. As often we annoy each other very, very little, and we I chew.
No, it's fine. The chewing's not that bad. It's very rare. It's very rare. Once in a while, I'm like, oh, there's some chewing happening over there.
I feel
it's subtle, but it happens sometimes.
It's okay. I'm fine with it.
It's really not a big deal.
I tell you the things that annoy me.
I feel like some of my chewing should be annoying to you, but you don't seem to notice it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this is on the top of my peeves list.
No. Chewing is, with you, as a matter of fact, one of the first things I was relieved about was you had a good chew. Really? Oh, yeah. I am shocked by this. Yeah. For me, I think things that annoy me about people tend to be like interpersonal behavioral things, like reactions. Yeah. I feel like that
that tracks with my personality, that's the kind of thing that would annoy me. When someone, that's why I'm focusing on how he handles this.
Right. Yeah. I'm a very deep person. I focus mainly on the chew. After that, everything else is easy sailing.
All right. So Kirsty, in conclusion, that's a long answer to a short question. Shocking.
Yeah.
You know, at least we're consistent. Kirsty, in conclusion, I think you absolutely should say something. It's a matter of preserving a relationship.
Absolutely. What would you rather? Would you rather be in this wonderful relationship and deal with horrible chewing for the next 50 years? Or just shut it down now with a slightly awkward couple of hours?
Yeah.
And then you know what he's going to do. You know what he's going to do. This is what you're going to have to deal with this too. There's a tail to this. Because every time you're eating every once in a while for the next few months, be like, is my chewing okay? It's going to do that. You're going to have to deal with that. And you very nicely be like, you know what? I love you. I've seen the effort you've made and I really appreciate it. And it's great. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. And I do think that when he does make that effort, which he should, if he doesn't, that's also a red flag.
Agreed.
Because it's just showing a lack of courtesy, a lack of remembering what she has said and including her in the experience.
And you know what? I'd like to take this to a meta level. I don't think people appreciate enough the amount of courage it takes to point things out like this.
No.
She's not pointing it out when she's being a jerk. She's pointing out when she wants to preserve the relationship. And it's very uncomfortable.
Yes.
It's like telling someone they have bad breath.
Yeah.
Telling someone they have bad dandruff.
Back to the bad breath.
Yeah. Breath is the number one. That's the Family Feud number one. For things you tell people that it's uncomfortable to tell them.
Well, the tough one about bad breath is...
hard to fix.
Yeah, sometimes it's easy to fix, but usually if it's a consistent thing, that's not easy to fix.
Yeah, bad breath is the toughest, but it's hard. The harder it is to fix the thing, the more uncomfortable it is to tell.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. Well done.
Like all the way down, like the lowest, the easiest.
Is spinach in your teeth.
It's like, oh yeah, or you have a toilet paper on your shoe.
Yeah.
Like real easy.
Yeah, yeah.
And the person's like, oh, thank you. That actually helps me. And I can literally just pull it off my shoe. This is a little bit in the middle, the chewing, but I don't want to. I know we've made this into something of a comedy sketch, and I didn't want to do that, but I don't want to.
I mean, her question was part of the comedy.
It's comedy, yeah. Yes. I mean, she knew this would be funny.
She knew it would get chosen.
Yeah, clearly, this is a Shandy type of question, but I don't want to sell the importance of this issue. I honestly think, I'm not kidding, I think annoying chewing is one of the biggest causes of friction in many relationships. I'm not joking. And good relationships that otherwise would be okay. Chewing is something we do in front of our loved ones, our significant other, like 3 or 4 hours of a day, every day of your life. Think about it. It's what we do. Yeah. It's animals do 3 things. They eat, they shit, and they chew. And they have sex. Wait, they do 4 things. They sleep, they eat, they go to the restroom. That's the best, is when people talk about animals or use the restroom. I've heard that before. It's unbelievable. But and they eat.
Good job.
Eat is number 4.
You lost a little steam there.
Lost some steam there. But my point is, if you spend a good 20% of your life chewing in front of somebody and your chewing is annoying, this is a problem, even for someone who deeply loves you in every way.
In conclusion, and just to wrap this up, Kirsty, nip it in the bud.
Absolutely.
Yep. And do it sweetly.
Yes.
Like a really thick breaded focaccia sandwich with this tiny smear of bullshit on the inside.
Yes. Bullshit.
All right. I think we answered that. Good luck, Kirsty.
Yes, may your days be filled with quiet chewing.
Well then, Andy, I think that's a wrap for this Q&A session.
Yep, case closed.
If you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what we will ask of you, and that is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram, tell your friends, leave us Apple Podcast ratings and reviews.
Very important.
Very important, and generally do all the things you would do to support a podcast that you so enjoy.
So enjoy?
So enjoy. And on that note, I think that's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye. Dear Shandy.